Good evening. How everyone doing today? My name is Irma J. I'm here to give you a word on today. The title gonna be "Say No More." Say no more. Now this is Joe's story. So Joe's story. Um, Now we know Joe's misery and suffering. The story about Joe. In my pain and suffering, what comes to mind? You know, a lot of time when we in our pain and suffering, the one thing come pop up in mind, Joe, what Joe went through. Said this point in the story, Joe had suffered horrible, and he had boldly questioned God. Joe stood silent for a long time in his stone. He didn't know what was going on, why he was losing everyone, and he was scared to oppose God. So he stood silent for a long time. But then he boldly questioned God, protested that he didn't deserve to lose his family, his health, and his possession. So we all may go through such much suffering and questioning God and feel like we don't deserve his love. So after he questioning God, then he feel like, I don't deserve God's love because I questioned God. Now Joe had friends that had come alongside him, but offering, helpful explanation or questioning, but there wasn't no help. So Joe had cried out to God. He cried out to God, and the Lord had answered Joe out of a stone. Now God had answered him with amazing words and humbling questions. One who contend with the Almighty, correction him. So let him who accused God answer him. So now Joe had lost everything, and suffering, and now he questioning God. Now he stood silent for a long time. Remember, he don't know what he did. He don't know why this is happening to him, and that's what all us, because Satan, all of a sudden, Satan will just start attacking you, and you don't know why. So Joe thought he was unworthy after he had questioned God. Now he put his hand over his mouth. Now after he questioned God, then he realized, who is me to question God? Now I'm feeling unworthy. And he started putting his hand over his mouth. Now Joe decided to remain quiet. Now he didn't need to speak, and judge God, who is the creator. And I be the same way too. When you talk out of line or you questioning God, sooner or later you got to come back and say, wait a minute, well, I'm sorry, God. You is the creator. He realized how mighty God is, and he questioning God. And we all get to that point when we feel like we want to question God when we don't know. Satan will just to turn your light, tear your light down, upside down. And so Joe spoke once. He asked that question one time, but I have no answer, twice, but I will say no more. Joe had questioned God once, and he had no other question. He said, I have no more. I have no more answer to ask you. So when he realized he talking to God, he said no more. Because he realized who he was talking to, the creator. Now he remembered that God loved him. The Lord challenged him with questions that revealed Joe's limitation. Joe was at his limitation. He was at the end. He was unrecognizable. No, his friends didn't recognize him. Joe was just at the end of his rope. So then the Lord had spoke to Joe out of a storm again. Joe had questioned God's justice in order to protect his own innocence. Because he kept on saying, I'm innocent. I don't know what I did. Why do I deserve, my family, all these losses that I done went through. So everything reckoning in his head, why is this is going on? So brace yourself like a man. Just God say, brace yourself like a man. I will question you. You have questions, I'm about to answer, and you should answer me. God said, Are you powerful as I? Because we don't have the right to question God. So God said, are you powerful than I? And then you bring justice on the proud. Then I will admit your power. Will you discredit my justice? Will you condemn me to justify yourself? So do you have a arm like God? And can your voice thunder like lightning? Now he telling this to Job now, and then adore yourself with glory and clothe yourself with honor. Unless your fury of your wealth, look at all who are proud and bring them low. So look at who are proud and humble them. Can you crush your enemy? What they stand. So God telling him, if you got all this power like me, then I'm going to honor you and give you glory. If you don't have power like me, we don't have the right to question God. So then I myself would admit to you that your own right hand can save you. So Job realized he does not have power like God. We all don't have power like God. Now he cannot adore himself with glory. Job cannot judge the wicked. He cannot crush the wicked. We can't do nothing, but the Almighty God can. So Job began to understand and bow down in silence to the Creator. Saying, I am unworthy. Say no more. But God loved Job enough to be with him, through his suffering. And that made all the difference, because Job didn't need to keep asking God any more questions. He asked that question one time and he didn't need to ask no more questions. And when God said, I was with you in your suffering, he said, that made all the difference. I ain't had to ask no more questions. He had discovered that God himself was the answer. He realized after he asked God that one question, and God said, I was with you through your suffering. He realized that God, all the answer, that's all the answer he needed. That when God said he was with him in his suffering, just like God said with David, I was with you wherever you went. Even you was running in that cage, running from Saul, running from your enemy, running from your Saul, I was with you. So God was with Job the whole time. And so Job finally rests in the truth that God is God, and that was enough. So he realized, questioning God, he realized who he was questioning. He was questioning the Creator. He answered that one question. He didn't need to answer no more questions, because through his suffering, God said, I was with you. I was with you through your suffering. So he realized that was enough. God was his answer. God was his answer. Meaning, if God is with us through our trials and tribulation, that means God allows Satan to do so much, and to God have the final answer. So sometimes when we reach the end of ourselves, when we reach the end of our tears and rage and question, Job had reached to his limitation. We are quiet. But when we hear him say, Job had got quiet. After God finished talking, God had said, is your arm is powerful like mine? Can you crush your enemy? Can you thunder like lightning? Job realized, I can't do none of that, God. I can't thunder like lightning. My arms is not like yours. I can't crush my enemies. I need you, God. So he got silence. And when he got silence, he heard God's voice. God's voice said, I am God. I am here. Say no more. So that's Job. The title was Say No More. When he realized who he was talking to, he didn't have to answer no more questions. He realized God was his answer. When God said, I was with you through your suffering, that's all he needs to know. that made the difference. It make a difference when God is with you in your trials. That means God is up to something. You know, he ain't gonna sit back and let Satan just do it for nothing. You know, when God is at his role, when he have the final say, then he will step in. He realized Job was at his limitation. He was at the end of his rope. So after Job, so that's when God had told him, I need you to pray for your friends. I need you to pray for your friends. And after Job had prayed for his friends, see, God knows he's at his limitation. Anytime you question God, you at your limitation. You know, you at the end of your rope. And after he prayed for his friends, and that's when God gave him everything back. Everything back that he lost. You know, and Job didn't need to question God no more. You know, he said no more. And so that's all I have for you. You know, Job had got to his limitation. He had got to the end of his road. Now remember, in his trials, you know, he was quiet for a long time. He was scared to approach God about everything that was going on. You know, and so when he got to his limitation, that's when he wanted to question God. But God told him, is your arm as powerful like mine? Can you crush your enemies? Can you thunder like lightning? Job said, wait, no, God, I can't. I can't. So when he realized who he was talking to, and God said, I was with you in your suffering. That's all he needed. That made a difference. You know, and sometimes we get to that point. But then we have to get to a point that Job got to. But he realized, he said no more. He said no more. And that's when God delivered him out of his captivity, delivered him out of his trials. And Job was able to start his life all over again. So that's all I have for you. Job has said no more. You know, so I see you on the next video. Have a nice day.